Welcome to Urban Bait TV. Me and Dan have just got down the lake.
Hi.
We ain't been here long. We've had a little walk round. This is our sort of annual session on Linchill. We've come on to Christchurch. We've found a couple of fish in the in a corner under a tree, and apparently there's a few fish showing out in this sort of area of the lake last night. We've not been here long, and we got in the tree, and within minutes Dan fell out the tree into the lake. How did it feel like, Dan?
Embarrassing.
Embarrassing. Well, we're gonna be here for a good few days, so what we're gonna do is gonna show you a few clips of how we're gonna tackle the lake, and hopefully we can show you a carp or two during our stay. The weather's going to be really hot, so Dan's clothes will soon dry out, won't they?
Yeah.
And we'll see you soon. After moving all our gear down to the swim, I've had a little cast around, and I found a nice couple of spots to put two of my rods. It's probably an area the size of a bivvy, at about 40 yards. It's really silty, and it's just beyond a nice weed bed. Over the past few years, I've done a couple of free sessions on this lake, and I do find that they do tend to like a lot of bait. When you get the fish on you, there's a good head of big fish. You know, one of the baits that I've done really well on here, well, the main bait has been red spicy fish. So what I tend to do is I mix a red spicy fish boilie with a red spicy pellet, and I put a little bit of fermented hemp. So the hemp I'm cooking and I'm leaving in the bucket for a period of time, maybe a week, 2 weeks, and once it starts going a bit rancid, and then I mix it all up, and I'm fishing over probably about 30 spods. So I'm going to put 30 spods out because the bottom's quite silty. The rig that I do quite well on, it's a bottom bait rig. It's a rig I call a pop down, and I'm going to be using one of our 18mm pop-ups. Hopefully you can see it there. One of our 18mm pop-ups, I'm using a size 4 hook, sharpened, a little bit of shrink tube on it just to get a nice kick. But what I'm doing with a pop-up is I'm using a punch, like a bread punch, and I'm punching a hole out, and then inside I'm putting an S&A shot. A lot of the baits that I'm using are chopped up and so on, so they're all pretty much different sizes. I've got some 12mm and some 18mm and some chopped up baits. So what I've done is I've used a sort of Stanley blade just to cut the edges off the bait, and then I'm going to get it wafting down, sinking really slow. I'm using fluorocarbon. I do like fishing on the bottom in this lake. You know, I've not had much success fishing on pop-ups. All my decent fish out of here have all come on bottom baits. So I'm going to get 3 rods out there. I'm going to put about 30 spoms of bait round it, and then we're going to sit back, and hopefully over the session, over the next few days, we're going to show you a nice fish. Speak to you soon. It's been a really long day today. We've been up since about 3 o'clock this morning. It was a 2-hour drive to get here. And then we've spent all day in roasting hot heat down here with not a lot of shade. Got our baits out sort of really early afternoon. Filled it in with a bucket of bait that we showed you earlier. About half-hour ago. Had a small liner on the right hand rod, and there was a little bit of slick coming off the spot, so it's looking pretty good. We've seen several fish in the trees, in the snags, either side of us. So let's fish around. They're up this end of the lake. In amongst them was a really big fish, I'd say well over 40 pound, and a nice mirror. So it's looking really good for the session. We've got quite a long session ahead of us still. It's only our first night, and we've got plenty of bait still in the van. So if we start having fish, or each day, I'm going to keep topping that spot up and hopefully draw in one of the real big ones. That's the plan. So Dan's sitting down playing cards at the moment by himself, cooling down, as he's absolutely roasting. Well, we'll come back to you tomorrow and tell you how we got on through the night. Well, our first night was quite eventful. We got badly attacked by the mozzies just as it was getting dark. Dan's full of lumps and bumps, so he wasn't happy. It was really hot last night as well, so it was so sticky. But about 1 o'clock in the morning, I started getting vicious liners on all 3 rods. Fishing 3 rods on the same spot out there, sort of all about 1 metre apart, over the big bucket of bait I put out, and just getting vicious liners. And then at 3 o'clock this morning, I had a good few bleeps. I thought it was a take, and I jumped out and ran up to the rod, and it was a liner. Got back in the bag, just getting no sleep at all with the liners I was getting. And then it must have been about 10 or 15 minutes later that the right hand rod just ripped off. Absolute flying take. Come running down the bank, picked the rod up, fish started pulling, started taking a bit of line off of me, and then it picked up my left hand rod. Picked up my left hand rod, and that was when it all started to go wrong. Got caught up on some weed out there and just started having a bit of a nightmare. So after a bit of time, Dan got out the bag, got him to hold the other rod, trying to pull, trying to sort of get some movement, but nothing was going on. It was just all locked up. This was going on for quite a while. 2 swims away was a little boat, so life jacket on, out in the boat. It was just getting light, and the fish had got off, so we lost the fish. So Dan's not talking to me. He was super upset. I'm upset. It's just, don't matter how long you fish for carp, if you lose one, especially in a lake like this where there's a lot of big fish, it's really painful. So not a good first night, but we've still got another 6 nights to go. The fish must be well on the bait. I mean, they only spawned a few weeks ago, so I reckon they're really on the munch. You know, there's a lot of bait out there last night, and I was getting some vicious liners for a good few hours, so there's definitely more than 1 or 2. There's definitely a good group of fish out there. So today we're going to go down the shops, recoup, get some bits and pieces. We're going to go and do some float fishing with some worm on one of the other lakes and try and catch a few roach and rudd. Keep him happy for the day, and then this afternoon it'll be another big bucket of bait on the spot, and hopefully tonight our luck changes. So as soon as it does, I'll be back and we'll do some more filming. Just finished the second night. Had a really eventful night last night. About 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, Dan woke me up, said there's some flashing over the back, and then we had a storm coming. For about 3 or 4 hours we had an absolute mental electric storm. The brolly was taking off. There was 2 of us just fishing under a brolly here, so my bed's on the outside, so I got absolutely soaked. And it was fault lightning all around us. You know, the buzzers were going constantly as there was loads of weed beds dragged into the swim. It sort of stopped at about 3 o'clock this morning, and then it all went quiet. In the last couple of hours the fish have been well on me. There's been a big oil slick coming up over the spot, loads of fizzing, so things are looking good. Over the 2 nights I've been here, I've put in a real lot of bait, absolutely filled it in. So I reckon over the next few days I'm going to now lower the bait down you know, just get it down to minimal bait to try and get takes. I've definitely got them going out here. This morning I've been seeing a couple of fish just cruising into the spot, going down, just sheeting up on it. So now I'm just going to leave my rods out for another 24 hours. I'm not going to move them, just going to leave them out there and, you know, let these fish get through the bait. It was absolutely roasting yesterday down here, really uncomfortable. You know, it was getting, must have been getting on for like 35 degrees down here yesterday, and it was just so humid. So it's a bit of cloud cover today, seems a bit nicer. They reckon it's going to be hot later, but we'll see how it goes. But hopefully tomorrow, when I do another little report for you, we're going to see a nice fish on the bank, and we're going to lower our bait, and hopefully these fish here are going to get through this bait and we'll be into one. So speak to you soon. So I've just finished off the third night, another eventful night. We went to bed, tried to go to bed a bit early, you know. Me and Dan ain't had a lot of sleep the first 2 nights. You know, hooking a fish the first night kept us awake for the rest of the night. And then we had the mad thunderstorm that scared us to death throughout the second night. And then about 12 o'clock started getting liners again over the bait, and must have been, I don't know, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, a screaming take. Come out and see my middle bobbin had been right at the top, pulls into a fish, and it powers off, and Dan comes running out, you know, and he's panicking, you know, after losing the last one. He really wants to see a fish, and so do I. Had a bit of an epic battle with a fish, it's weeded me up a lot, but we got it in anyway, and it's a beautiful mirror. So we're going to do a video of it soon. It's just getting light now, so we weighed it. It's 32 pound, real dark old chestnut warrior. The fish was still out there. I was getting liner on the other rod. As one of my rods, it wiped out, the fish wiped out again. It's a bit of a problem I got in this swim. It's very weedy and the lines are quite high in the water and they're getting wiped out. You can't get your lines down. So that's how I lost the first fish, and the lead never come off. Anyway, I had another cast out on the spot in the dark. Got the rod back out there again, and within 40 minutes we were sitting there excited, buzzing about the fish, and it was off again. And this one, again, another bit of a epic story to it. It just powered off. I knew it'd come out. So there's 2 lost now, 1 landed, and hopefully that's all the lost fish done with. The fish is getting a bit lively, and we'll get it out and get some photos and get her back. Stunning mirror. 3 o'clock this morning, 32 pound. It's an absolute belter. Made all the hard work that me and Dan have had to do to get this fish in these hot conditions out. Come in here, Dan. Come, move the bucket out of the way. Dan was a part of this capture as well. He convinced me to stay and keep working hard. Come, get down low, Dan. Come down, right down by me. Stunning carp. Linchill. Another absolute beauty from Christchurch Lake. Morning from Linchill Fishery. Just done our 4th night, so last night was the least eventful night of the trip down here. Obviously, you know, the last 3 nights me and Dan have been down here. We ain't had a lot of sleep. We've been getting takes at night. We've had thunderstorms. So last night was really quiet. You know, we went to bed probably about 10 o'clock, and you know, woke up this morning, it was light out and no liners in the night or nothing. So the fish didn't really turn up last night. A few we've seen have been sort of over the other side. So I'm going to up the baiting tonight. Got 3 more nights left. I'm going to up the baiting a lot, get them back on the spot, You know, probably put about 40 to 50 spoms out tonight, I reckon, again. You know, like I was doing earlier in the session, and overbait a little bit. So hopefully that'll be the one. Been getting a lot of fish in this snag to my left over the last 3 or 4 days since we've been down here. We've been throwing bait in there, it's been disappearing. So we've primed it up. So about an hour ago, I went out with the chest waders on. I waded right up to the snag, and I literally got under the, you know, right on the edge of the snag. It's really clear under there. It's well fishable. There's a real shallow ledge that's really been cleaned off. So I ended up literally hand placing my rig right on the edge of the snag. A few handfuls of bait round it, and that's it. We're going to see how that one goes. There's been fish getting in and out of that tree all week, and we've been, you know, baiting that area, so it's quite exciting. The floater fishing went eventful yesterday. That was very eventful. We went floater fishing on one of the other lakes on the complex. We absolutely piled in the floaters, got them real taking, like unbelievable in the end. I managed to stalk a really pretty mirror out the margin on a free line. Just a little cutting of a red spicy fish pop up, like a quarter of a red spicy fish pop up, cut into a square, just side hooked. I literally dropped it in a hole in the weed where they'd been feeding right under the rod tip, and had an epic fight. Really nice looking mirror, you'll see, really beautiful. I'll show you a video of that. Then I lost another fish, so it's been one of them sessions for fish losses. I've hooked 3 in this lake, landed 1, now I hooked 3 in that lake as well, and only landed 1. But yeah, sometimes it goes like that, carp fishing. I think before then, on my other lake, I'd landed 14 fish on the trot, and that's really weedy and snaggy and so on. So that's how it goes, but hopefully next bite we get it in the net, and we've still got 3 more nights. Dan's still loving it down here. He's the film man, the cameraman, and well done, Dan. Here we are, 4 days into our session at Linchill on Christchurch Lake. It's been a very, very eventful session. Last night was a lot quieter. The fish didn't seem to get on us much last night. The weather changed a bit, we had a bit of rain come in, and it didn't really happen. But yesterday morning, we had a cracking mirror, 32 pound, sort of come in the middle of the night, while Dan was asleep. And I'll lead it on to you, Dan, you can tell us a bit about it. What happened?
I was a kip in my bag, just sleeping, still asleep, and then I heard this ripping take, got up and saw Dad just pulling on it, taking line off him, and got up, said, "Have you got one on?" He said, "Yeah." And from then on, got in the lake, playing it until it was quite close in, got the net, put it in, got the net, had a couple of tries with the net and got it in eventually.
It was a beautiful fish, Dan, though, weren't it?
Yeah, halfway through the thing, got locked up in the weed, because we've lost some, like when it's got in the weed, I said, "No messing about, Dad, let's get the boat," but we didn't need it. We just carried on playing it, and it was the right decision.
It's been a really tough session with the hot weather, but Dan's done really well. He's been down here 4 days. I mean, literally, it was 40 degrees yesterday down here. It's been really roasting. We had a good day's floater fishing yesterday, what Dan's told you about. But at the end of the day, it's been good, and we've still got 3 nights left. We've got a couple of new spots that we're going to fish tonight that we've been baiting for 3 or 4 days. So hopefully we can show you guys another fish towards the end of our session. Hi there. We've just done our 5th night on Linchill of our marathon week session. As you know, as we've been taking you through day by day, you can see some of the things that we've been coming across down here. Last night we had a different one to put up with, as every day's been totally different. And at about 10 o'clock last night, we were sitting in the bivvy, and it just started hammering down of rain. Literally hammering down of rain. 2 of us under a brolly. I'm getting a little bit wet. Anyway, it was a little bit uncomfortable. About 12 o'clock last night, Dan was sound asleep, and I started to get a few liners on my rods, on the rods over the bucket of bait. So I started to get a bit excited, expecting a fish. Anyway, it must have been an hour or two later. The rain was absolutely hammering down, and I heard my buzzer go. I had about 6 bleeps, and then it stopped, and I was about to get out. I was just putting my shoes on, and I thought, oh, that's a liner. So I got back in my bag, and about a minute later, another bleep. Head up again, one more bleep. So put the shoes on, run down there, and all the line was bowstring tight, really tight. Picked the rod up and could feel solid resistance on the other end. Shouted out to Dan. He come out and straight away said to me, Dad, you know, this is going to be weeded up. We might need to get the boat. Anyway, we sat there for quite a while. The fish was really solid, weeded up. There was not a lot we could do with it. So I quickly got in the boat with a rod and a net, gone out there. It was only about 30-40 yards out, and got right above the fish. Really pulled and pulled and pulled. And then I could feel it all, you know, coming up off the bottom. All of a sudden, the line released. I thought I might have lost the fish, and then I reconnected with it. And then I had a really epic battle. This fish, I could see in the torchlight, was really long, you know, a real good mirror, and it was charging up and down. Anyway, I was out there for about 5 minutes playing this fish before it tired, and got him in the net. Wasn't he a beauty, Dan?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a 34-pound mirror, really scaly, really dark, you know. Got a few photos of him as well, first light. And what a cracking fish, another beautiful Oxford carp. So we've hooked 7 fish down here now. We've lost a few. We've still got 2 more nights to go. And you still enjoying it, Dan?
Yeah.
We're absolutely loving it down here, we are. And you know what? He don't want to go home, do you?
No.
And he really don't want to go home, because, you know, we can taste more fish in this session. But what we'll do, we'll keep you up to date tomorrow. And that'll be our last full day down Linchill tomorrow. And we're going to have one, aren't we?
Yeah.
Definitely. Good afternoon. Coming to the end of our session down at Linchill now. We've been here 6 nights. We were going to stay for 7. Dan don't fancy no more. You know, it has been a long week. We've had all this weather to contend with. You know, we had absolutely unbelievable heat down here. You know, reaching nearly 38 degrees, which was unbelievable, really unbearable. Hard, even when you're baiting up, it's really hard in that heat, just, you know, just sweltering all the time. And then we had really bad thunderstorms down here, and we got absolutely, all our gear got soaked. And then we was back to some heat, and then it went really cold. So it's been a real mixed bag of weather. It's took its toll on us. But we've had an absolutely brilliant week. We love it down here. Linchill Fishery, great fishery. You know, really laid back down here. We ended up with 7 bites as well. So we hooked 7 carp. We hooked 4 out of Christchurch, all on the bottom, all fishing over buckets of spotted bait. In fact, all of our takes come to the new red spicy fish barrels. They really took off this week, fishing them in singles and doubles. So really happy with that. Fishing over the deadly red spicy fish mixed with some nutcracker has been the winning method for us this week on Christchurch. We also had an afternoon's floater fishing where we landed a fish and we lost a couple in the weed, and that was really exciting too. We really had them feeding that afternoon, putting a lot of mixers out. So we've had a brilliant session. Dan's had a good session. He's a bit tired now. You know, it is a bit tiring. We were getting a lot of bites at 1 o'clock in the morning and 2 o'clock in the morning, and then not sleeping after that. You know, you get a fish, you're really excited. So we're going to go off. We've done our 6 days. We're really happy with our session. And then what we'll do, the next time we do a session, or I'll do a session, we'll do some more of the same. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel and get on the going bait.